Hey guys, it's Rhett here. I'm going to show you a quick tutorial on how to create hair cards, place them, and then turn them into hair cards all using XGen. Hopefully I can do this all in one take. So first I start out with a kind of a base mesh, kind of like to get the hair strands going. I made this in ZBrush, so I just have kind of a base to start from. And then with this guy, we want to go to generate, and then we want to make paintable, and then select off of that and go back to generate, and then use the paint effects tool. And this is really cool because then we can just start to draw these lines right here onto this mesh like that, and these will act as individual hair cards, and you can obviously tweak them and change them up, make them look much better. So what you'll want to do is you'll want to fill the whole head with all these strokes. I've actually already gone and done that here. And working with these strokes, they kind of take a little bit of extra time, and they're kind of hard on your computer, so just be aware of that. So now once you got all those strokes done, you want to take all of those guys, and then you're going to go to modify, convert, and then paint effects to curves. It's going to take a second because they're hard on the computer. And then I'm going to actually delete those guys because they take up, they're just hard to run. And I'm actually going to turn off our hair and turn off our geo and head cap there, and select all of these guys. And they go into their own individual folder, which is kind of annoying, so I just Control G, and that puts them into their own group. Delete those old ones, and I just call them like hair splines or something. And then, because ultimately these will act as shaping guides once we get them onto our XGen. And then just to make sure that they're all touching the head cap, let's turn on our head cap. Be sure to have a head cap because that's where we're going to actually be building the hair from, or if that makes sense. The hair is actually going to be coming out of this head cap, so just quickly make one and quad draw based off of your geo here. So turn that guy back off, and as you can see, not all of our they're not all touching, they're not getting very close to our head cap. So just select all those guys, and then select first CV. I have soft selection on, so I can turn that down, and then I just pull them all in. Some of them won't touch, like these little guys back here, and I recommend that you actually go in and just grab the individual one, select for CV, and then just pull it to that geometry there. I'm not going to do that right now because it'll take time, but you get the idea. I'm going to save it real quick. Alright, and then with your head cap selected, we're going to go to the XGen editor, create a new description. You can give it a name, whatever. I'm not going to do that right now just for sake of time. And then you go to placing and shaping guides. Create that. Now nothing shows up because we don't have any guides, and so these are actually going to act as our guides. So go to utilities and curves to guides. Select all those guides, and I leave that delete curves unchecked because I like to have these curves just in case. You can delete them if you want to, but it's nice to have them there. So, and you can mess around with these. The snapped tip mount, that's just gonna mess around with the root and how close it actually gets to the cap. I just leave it set to there. Okay, and then add guides. You can see it kind of follows them roughly. See these ones in the back, they kind of had to figure their own selves out. It's best to kind of tweak them on your own. And then we can turn off our hair splines, and then we can do this, and we get something that looks absolutely disgusting, right? So this is actually the trick that I found out, especially when to make cards. Grooms are really nice. Like if we're doing XGen for this purpose of having like for renders or for film, XGen is really nice to have these. But I don't want these. This is gross for hair cards because each one of these strands is going to act as a hair card. And if my hair cards look like this, then we got a problem. And you can also see that they don't follow my arcs perfectly. So there's this setting I found that helps make things so much easier. So I actually, I believe it's at guide locations. So it doesn't look quite impressive yet, but bear with me. We go here and we can actually modify our CVs. I do about 15 or 10 or 15. That's just the amount of cuts that you'll have in your hair card itself. So it just depends on your performance and what you're expecting to do. And then go with our width, and I turn that all the way up, like, let's see, I don't want to do, no, 10 is too big. 5 is even too big. So let's try 2, 2 or 1. So each one of these is going to be made into a hair card. And so you can see we get a little bit more, let's turn off face camera. So you actually get more control over each individual card using this method, whereas if you're doing randomly across the surface, you can see that we have some cards that have weird facing, and there's just so many of them, and they're so uncontrollable. It's just very frustrating. So that's why we do at guide locations. And the good thing about having these guides is you can actually go in and make more. So see these hair splines? These are the same hair splines, but we can go back to utilities and add those guides again and rebuild it, and you can see that we have extra. So it's a very non-destructive way to work, where you can keep adding these hair splines, where you just keep going back and forth, drawing drawing the curves on there on your base mesh, and then you're just building up those hair cards to have something that looks really nice in the end. So and you can play around with the settings here, but finally, say once you have your hair that's looking all nice and beautiful, this obviously isn't looking beautiful. I'd have to sit there and add more curves and keep going to utilities and convert them to guides. But say you're ready to make these into hair cards. So we go into preview and output, and then we will go to create geometry. And you can play around with these settings if you want to combine the mesh all into one, whatever. I turn that off because I like to do my own UVs. And then I turn off create joints, otherwise we'll have joints going through all the hair. That's good if you want to rig it, but we're not rigging. So and then we go ahead and create geo and turn off our collection, and you can see now we have some hair cards. And obviously you'll have to sit there and tweak it, like take these ones and sit there and reverse them, but oops, my reverse didn't work. It doesn't want to work. It should normally work. I don't know why it doesn't want to. But yeah, so that's how I got that really nice groom that I showed you guys last night, just by doing that, just building up these cards, redoing from the first step, just over and over again. So I hope that helps. If you have any questions, hopefully I didn't go too quick or too slow, but yeah, that's it. See you.